So first, in order to access the Google Colab, you have to type Google Colab in the search bar. Then you will get this link. We can click on this. Then we will be directed to the Google Colab, that is colab.research.google.com notebook. So these are the notebooks that I have already created. You can simply choose a new notebook. So it will take some time depending upon the speed of our network. So this is the name of the program, that is untitled 5 dot. We can read untitled 5.ipynb. This is an extension to denote it's a Jupyter Python notebook. We can rename this project, rename notebook. So I'm going to rename this. We can make it as sample.ipynb. This is the place where we have to write the code. Suppose I'm going to write. So before that, you have to check whether our notebook is connected. If it is not connected, then we have to click here, then allocating, connecting. So the status will be connected after everything is okay. Initializing, then connected. So it indicates that we are connected to the cloud platform. So connected to Python 3 Google Compute Engine backend. RAM is 0.76 GB. Disk capacity out of 12.72 GB. Disk is 30.19 GB out of 107.77 GB. So here I can write the code. Suppose simply I'm writing a hello message as this starts with any other programming. So we will get the output over here. Suppose we want to more code. Here we can plus code and you can write the code. This is the portion where you can my first. So everything written after this text message will be come under the category of first program. So this is how we can simply open a notepad and start programming. This is similar to our Jupyter notebook. That is, we have to install a Python, and after when we open Jupyter notebook in our laptop or desktop system, we will get the same interface. So that we have here, we have access using the browser only. Then in order to change the runtime, we can choose the runtime option. Then you have to click the change runtime type. By default, it is CPU. So none indicate that we are currently using the CPU. So hardware accelerators, that is GPU, GPU, etc. are the hardware accelerators which are used to improve the speed, improve the performance of our system or to speed up our computations. There are three options. None means CPU. GPU means if you have to use the GPU. GPU means tensor processing unit. Here I am selecting GPU. Then save option. Again, allocation will be done, connecting, and finally we will get a message as connected. Okay, connected this. Then to check whether the GPU is allocated or not, we can use this code. This is available in the TensorFlow website. So here we have to write the code, that is import TensorFlow as TF. TensorFlow is a library. Device name. We are going to get the name of the device. If the GPU is not connected, we will get the error messages GPU device is not connected. If it is connected, we will get the name of the GPU device. I'm going to run this cell. So found GPU at device GPU 0. That is, it indicates that we have successfully connected to a GPU. That is, Google Colab platform provides us a free GPU. We can use this GPU up to 12 hours in a day without any charge. So this is how we can check whether we are connected to a GPU or not. Then I will show you another site. another site which provides a list of already developed applications. You can run these applications and study how this Google Colab works. You can access this using the link tensorflow.org.hub/tutorials. So the tutorials are given for text tutorials. Suppose if your project work is concentrating on text classification, for example, text classification, Bangla article classifier, that is a Bengali articles written in the Bangla language is classified. So these are the already developed applications which is given in the website for reference for text tutorials. Different categories are there. Then image tutorial. So I will show you how the object detection algorithm works here within few minutes. So image tutorials are there. If your project is concentrating on image related or image processing, you can just run these applications and have a study over these features. So then video tutorials, action recognition, video interpolation. So this is an excellent applications which teach you how if you're given the first image and the last image, it will predict the other sequence of images which comes in between. So video interpolation is nothing but from the first and last image, we can predict the images which comes in between. Text to video retrieval, then audio tutorials, speech recognition. We can input an audio. These applications will recognize the pitch of that particular audio. So if you customize these applications, we can use this to detect the sound of persons and so on. So these are the basic applications and using this and after studying this, you can develop similar applications like this. It is accessible from the website tensorflow.org.hub/tutorials. Okay, so this is an excellent website where you can learn the basics of machine learning, TensorFlow, data science, etc. So in order to create an interest in you, next I am going to show you an application that is already there in the website, which is used to detect the object. If you give the picture of a large scene, it will detect the different objects. That is, it will detect the human beings, but detect the other animals or other images in it, and display each of them with their name. And okay, so we can see the different steps involved in these applications. So first of all, as a step one, we have to import different packages. So we have already seen that different packages like NumPy, TensorFlow, Keras, etc. So if we are going to develop an application, the first step is we have to import the packages required to build that applications. This code is directly available in this website, TensorFlow Hub. I'm directly taken it from there and executing it for you. Just create an idea. Just create an idea. Okay, now let's see. So this step, we are just importing different packages. The second step, and the second step, we are going to create some utilities that is needed later. For example, we are creating helper method to load an image. In the later point of time, we have to load images to detect a different object in it. So the second step, we are going to create some utilities. This code is already written and I have just taken from this website. So only task required is we have to execute. Then the third step is to visualize the images with proper detected boxes, key points, and segmentation. We can use the TensorFlow Object Detection API. To install it, we will clone the repository. That is, we are going to clone the TensorFlow Object Detection API. For that, I am executing this code. Okay. As a second step, we have to install the Object Detection API. We are going to install the Object Detection API. Then we are going to import the dependencies we will need later. Then next step is we have to build a detection model and load the pre-trained model weight. For example, in order to detect object, there are different object detection models are there. So from that object detection model, we have to choose one and we have to import that model to our application. For example, in the code, different models are there. For example, here in this project, they have used center and hourglass 104 key points 512 into 512. This is an algorithm for detecting the object. There are so many object detection algorithms are there. As I tried, you can change this algorithm and execute. So, and study the features of different algorithm. So, all these are the different object detection algorithm. Here, we are using CenterNet hourglass 104 key points 512 into 512. It's an object detection algorithm that is given a large image. Using this algorithm, we can detect the different object in that. Then next step is after fixing the object detection model, we have to load the selected model from the TensorFlow hub. For that, I am executing this module, that is print loading print, and then hub model is equal to hub.load model handle. Model handle is nothing but the name of the selected model. Here it is CenterNet hourglass 104 key points 512 into 512. So we can execute this code. So we will get the message as loading module. After the load process is completed, model will be loaded. Model loaded message will be displayed. We can wait for that. So students, I'm using a pre-written code from this TensorFlow hub. Similarly, you can also run and study the different application examples given in the site. So the application examples are given for text processing, video processing, audio processing, etc. And also some code for data analysis also given in the website. So successfully model is loaded. Then next step is we have already created a model to detect different objects in an image. So what is the next step? In the next step, we have to load an image from which we have to detect the object. So here in the code, they have given a set of predefined images. So first I'm choosing the beach. From this beach image, we are going to detect the different objects. So for that, we are first loading this beach image. So I'm running that code. So the beach image will be loaded into our application. Here we will get the beach image. So the beach image of the beach is loaded. It is already there. Then we are running the model to detect different objects in this image. This is the beach image. So as we can see, there are some kites, human beings, etc. So we are running the model, that is our model, to detect the objects in it. So this code will do that purpose. So after that model is executed, then next to see the output in a visual form, we can run this code. Then we will get the final result as shown here. So this is the final output. So the different objects in the loaded image is identified. That is kite 65.0. It's a probability or surety that it's a kite. Then human beings are displayed with the label person, and it is 71.0%, identified with the probability that is 76.0. So this is the final output. So there is what I'm trying to tell is that using Google Colab, we can develop applications based on Python. And mainly machine learning related, deep learning related, and data science related applications can be easily developed. The main advantage is that there is no need for uh, installing any softwares and purchasing costly hardwares to perform our intended task or applications. So and another advantage is I like to show that also after running or developing a particular applications, you can save your applications in a Google Drive. So we can download these applications from anywhere later point of time, or you can save a copy in GitHub repository. Then also there is another option. You can share the applications or developed applications to your friends. So the project part developed by one friend can be viewed by other student or teammate from any other point, and they can view the changes made by their friends, and they can study those changes, and they can make their own changes. So as a share option, we have to specify a valid. Here we can specify the email ID of the person to whom you are going to share this data, and then so these are the advantages.